Good afternoon, everybody. I hope all is well this Monday. Welcome back, everybody. If you have not subscribed yet, definitely consider hitting that subscribe button, hit that like button, and share this information to ensure it gets in the hands that need it the most. We have a plethora of weather events to talk about today, and unfortunately, we will be looking at a double barrel threat in terms of massive storm systems this upcoming week. Taking a look at the overall setup here, guys, we have two massive low pressure systems. So let me actually step this forward a little bit. Here we go. We can see this one here and the one up to the north as well. So it's definitely pretty crazy. We have this one moving into over the southern Arizona and northwestern New Mexico region here. And we also have the second one right on its heels, impacting the Pacific Northwest. This second low pressure system will soon be bringing in precipitation into the states of Washington, Oregon, and British Columbia. So we definitely have to watch out for this. We can step forward in time here a little bit. We can see that first trough rapidly eject off to the northeast. So we can definitely see that playing there. Definitely pretty crazy. This is going to be as we head into the afternoon hours. So definitely not good. All the while, the second low pressure system, which actually looks to be much stronger than the first, will be digging down across the southwestern U.S. as we head towards our day on Tuesday. So we can see that coming in, definitely digging down. So definitely not a good situation, folks. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation. We will continue to monitor the progression of these two systems. Taking a more in-depth look for later on this afternoon, so this is around 4 p.m., so it's definitely pretty interesting here. This afternoon and evening, we'll begin to observe some snowfall here, mainly across the Pacific Northwest into the central Rockies as well. Within the Rockies, we'll be seeing snow into the evening hours as well. If we step this forward, definitely see that snow building here within the Rockies during the evening hours here. This is through 10 p.m. tonight. We can step forward into Tuesday morning as well. So we can head into 7 a.m. here. We can see that warm air advection definitely pushing up northward across the central and southern plains, generating showers and thunderstorms. This will include the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and all the way up through Oklahoma City, potentially spreading as far north as Kansas City here. It's definitely pretty crazy, so we definitely have to keep an eye out on this. Looking at this activity and the way these ingredients are mixing together, the Storm Prediction Center has issued a marginal risk for severe thunderstorms, which includes the possibility for brief tornadoes. This is right here near the Kansas City area, so definitely not a good situation here, folks. This is actually extending into portions of extreme southern Iowa here, as well as into extreme portions eastern Kansas here, and even southeastern Nebraska as well. But the focus is going to be around Kansas City tomorrow, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on this. We could have a few brief spin-up tornadoes or land spouts, possibly even some damaging winds and maybe some small hail as well. We'll definitely monitor the situation as we go forward. This system will be occluding at this time by Tuesday evening here, with a north to south oriented cold frontal zone, bringing along the possibility for some convective rain bands as well as a few severe thunderstorms. And we also have some snow popping up here across portions of the northern plains as well as within the Rockies. Places such as Minnesota, North and South Dakota here, retrograding back across the Four Corners region. Cold air will definitely be advancing from the north to the south as well. And ahead of this cold air mass, we'll have a plethora of warm air in place. And coupled with this occluding system and prominent triple point, we will have to watch for the development for severe weather across portions of extreme southwestern Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, northeastern Kansas, and northwestern Missouri here. We definitely have the potential for a few brief tornadoes and land spouts as well, which we'll have to monitor very, very closely. So just to reiterate here, folks, this will be activated by a favorable low-level jet setup out ahead of our system as this occludes and the triple point develops. The time frame for this event will be Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday evening, especially in and around the Kansas City area, where we have a small window of opportunity for severe thunderstorms to anchor to this boundary and lift off to the northeast very, very rapidly. Heading into Wednesday morning here, folks, this first system will begin to exit the United States and head into the Canadian provinces, where snow will be spreading on the northern and northwestern side of this system, impacting places such as northern and central Minnesota here, and up through Ontario and as well as through Quebec. We will also be observing liquid precipitation further south across Wisconsin here, the upper peninsula of Michigan as well, and down across central Michigan and much of the other mid of Michigan as well, with some rain also impacting eastern Pennsylvania, even southwestern Pennsylvania here, down to the Appalachian Mountains, through eastern Tennessee here, northern Georgia as well. We'll definitely be getting in on the action, and down through northern and central Alabama as well, central Mississippi, as well as back off to the west of New Orleans here. So definitely an interesting setup for tomorrow morning. You definitely want to make sure if you're in these areas to the south of this system, in those areas just that I just went through, definitely want to make sure you pack your umbrella, because you definitely don't want to be caught without that. It's definitely going to be sort of light rainy day here in the northeast, and even into the Great Lakes here. But as you go further south into Georgia, as well as Alabama, Mississippi, down into Louisiana, you definitely want to make sure you pack that umbrella, because we're definitely going to have some heavier convective bands of rain definitely forming there. Taking a look at the precipitation amounts through Wednesday the 15th, we are seeing some prominent rain stretching across much of the middle of the nation here, ranging from a half an inch upwards to an inch of rainfall, especially across the Ozarks here and the Arklatex. We definitely have to watch out for this. Even into portions of southeastern Oklahoma, stretching down into the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex here, we're going to see some of that rain. And as I said before, even into Louisiana here, we can see a half an inch of rain definitely developing here near Baton Rouge and points to the north. So we're going to watch this system very, very closely. Switching gears to the snowfall accumulations expected through Wednesday. Most of the snow will be observed across across portions of the Canadian provinces here in Ontario and Quebec. This will also stretch down across the northern plains into Minnesota and the Dakotas as well, where snowfall accumulations here of 1 to 3 inches, possibly 2 to 4 inches, with isolated locations receiving 4 to 8 inches of snowfall. And unfortunately here, the much heavier snow will exist further to the southwest across the Rockies and through the Four Corners region. This energy will also be transferred up through the Pacific Northwest as well, as the second low pressure system digs in across the region. Heavier snow totals will exist across western Washington and Oregon and up through British Columbia through Wednesday. The aforementioned snowfall will be causing some major travel issues across the southwestern United States through the Rockies as well. If you're traveling in these areas, please use extreme caution. This will extend up through the northern plains as well and into the Pacific Northwest, especially within the higher elevations of these regions. Major travel impacts are expected across southern Colorado, northwestern Mexico, as well as across much of eastern Arizona heading through Wednesday. As we move into Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, we will begin to feel the impacts from the more significant low-pressure system digging southward across many of the same areas aforementioned, especially across the Four Corners region where those winds will be picking up dramatically here. The system will then eject off to the northeast, taking a similar path as compared to the first low-pressure system that we had discussed earlier. This will occur Wednesday night through Thursday as well. You can see that ejection taking place there, but you can see how tight those isobars definitely become within the Four Corners region and areas to the south here between Mexico, New Mexico, and Texas, and even Arizona. Those winds are going to be whipping here, folks. This system will be extremely significant, generating an extremely sharp temperature gradient from west to east across the central United States. We will have the colder temperatures creeping in from the northwest across the northern plains, where temperatures may dip down into the teens here, as well as into the Rockies as well. However, preceding this major storm system, we will have temperatures soaring into the 60s, 70s, even some 80s popping up here. These warmer temperatures will be very widespread, stretching from the Ohio Valley to the mid-Atlantic as well, and down through the Gulf Coast. So this will definitely be a storm system to remember in the winter month of February for sure. And this will continue to be the case as we go through Thursday as well. It's actually stepped this forward in time there. You can see that very, very sharp temperature gradient definitely taking place. So we're going to have to watch this. Warmer temperatures continue across much of the deep south, through the southeast as well, all the way up into portions of the northeast as well, as we see this coming in around 8 p.m. You can see how warm it gets up here. We could possibly see 60s, possibly even 70s up into the northeast. So we're going to have to watch this system as it definitely propagates into our direction here up towards the World Weather Authority studio. Switching gears now to the severe weather event taking shape on Wednesday. The dew points will be rising into the 60s and 70s across portions of the deep south into the central plains as well as we step this forward. Definitely not good. You can see those dew points definitely rising and surging up to the north. The Gulf of Mexico is acting as a reservoir of fuel here for severe thunderstorms. Moisture and warm air advection will be surging northward with higher values across the Arklatex here. Along the I-20 corridor through Texas, extending eastward towards the central Gulf Coast states. This will be sounding alarms for a significant weather event to take shape through Wednesday, the Wednesday and Wednesday night time frame. The Storm Prediction Center has issued a slight risk for severe weather stretching from western Tennessee down through northwestern Mississippi as well, and down through eastern Texas, and this will almost include the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as well. So you can definitely see this is a broad area of slight risk that we're going to have to watch very carefully as we move into the Wednesday time frame. All right, so tracking the severe weather event, so we can begin this. Let's begin this right around lunchtime, 1 p.m. here on Wednesday. This low pressure system will begin propagating off the front range of the Rockies here with some snow on the northwestern side across Denver, Colorado, with warm air advection and dew points beginning to surge northward as well across the Texas coastal plain and into much of the central Gulf Coast states. So it's definitely not much in terms of severe weather at this point here around this time due to a pretty strong capping inversion in the atmosphere. However, once we head into the evening hours here, let's step this forward. So we can step forward to, let's step it forward to about 1 a.m. So we head into the evening hours and through the nocturnal hours of Wednesday night through Thursday morning. We definitely have to keep our eyes on the sky here for scattered thunderstorms across portions of Missouri Valley down through the Arklatex, extending eastbound through the upper deep south, as we'll be seeing a few supercells developing with all three modes of severe weather, which includes the potential for isolated strong to violent tornadoes, large hail, possibly eclipsing quarter size, and damaging winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. So it's definitely not going to be good. We're going to have a lot of potential for severe weather Wednesday night into Thursday morning, especially during those nocturnal hours. At the same time here, as we step this forward, we can go to 1 a.m. Thursday here. On the northwestern side of this storm system, a few stronger snowfall bands will begin to take shape across central and northwestern Kansas, as well as to southern portions of Nebraska, with a few light snow showers extending into the Oklahoma Panhandle here, down through extreme portions of the northern Texas Panhandle as well. We can go through Thursday morning as well, so we'll go to about 7 a.m. on Thursday. Severe weather threat will be pushing eastward and lifting northeastward as well into portions of Kentucky here. Eastern Illinois as well could definitely get hit, southern and eastern Illinois. Much of Indiana, definitely, at least portions to the south of the central portion, south of Indianapolis here. So we're going to have to watch this very, very carefully. This could even go into portions of southern Ohio as we step this forward, even into 10 a.m. here. The deformation snow here, the zone will be still raging across the northwestern portion of the storm during this time frame, moving into central Iowa, southeastern Nebraska, as well as into eastern Kansas as well. This does include the Kansas City area, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. This is going to be up through Des Moines as well, retrograding back towards the Omaha area. So we're going to be watching this system. It's very dynamic, so we'll definitely keep an eye out on this for you. Taking a look at the 500 millibar setup on Wednesday, in terms of severe weather, we will be observing a significant mid-level jet rounding the base of this system, giving rise to an enhancement in the strong surface winds as well as mid-level winds as well. We can definitely see mid-level rotation as this jet rounds the base of this trough here. So we're going to have to watch this. This could definitely be very, very interesting as we step forward. All right, taking a look at the 850 millibar analysis, the low-level jet, again with that tornadic threat, the low-level jet will be prominent and persistent across the Arklatex into the mid-south. Thus, we have to watch this system very carefully, Scattered rotating supercells will be likely as well, especially through the evening hours and the overnight hours on Wednesday into Thursday. You can see how much that low-level jet ramps up. It's definitely not a good situation. Keep in mind to keep your cell phones charged. Make sure you have candles and flashlights ready to go. Grab a few gallons of water as well, just in case, and have an emergency preparedness kit ready to go as these storms come in. If you have a NOAA weather radio, ensure the batteries within are charged and ready to go as well. You definitely want to make sure you increase your awareness of this potentially deadly severe weather outbreak coming in. Depending on how work looks like on Wednesday and Thursday, I will be attempting to go live during these severe weather events as well, to ensure that the information is broadcast out there for the benefit of those in the path of these storms, and to ensure that you have the latest up-to-date information. As we head into the Thursday time frame, this system will advance eastward, bringing in the dew points from the south as far northward as the Ohio Valley and even into the Mid-Atlantic states, which includes the region here near the World Weather Authority studio. The accompanying cold frontal zone will be marching east as well, bringing with it sufficient lift and moisture necessary for strong to severe thunderstorms to develop. I mean, just look at these dew points here, folks. Look how deeply rooted this warm air travels to the north. It's definitely pretty crazy. For February, this is almost unheard of. It does happen on occasion, but it happens very rarely. And just take a look at that, how broad of an area the Storm Prediction Center has issued that slight risk on Thursday. It's definitely absolutely massive here, folks. This extends from portions of the Great Lakes, namely Lake Erie, all the way down to the Gulf Coast, which includes the northern side of New Orleans and Lake Pontchartrain. This also includes the Cleveland area as well, even to the Atlanta metro area. So this is definitely not a good sign of things to come this upcoming storm chasing season for sure. I mean, we're only in February, folks. Can you imagine what's going to happen here in March, April, May, June as we go into those peak storm months? It's definitely going to be pretty intense. All right, tracking the weather on Thursday, right around lunchtime here, folks. We have that deformation zone where the heaviest snow is developing across south and central Wisconsin, down through much of Iowa as well. Even into portions of northern Illinois could definitely see that. And down through Kansas and Nebraska and northern Missouri is still getting hit by some of this snow as well. The severe weather side of this storm system will be taking shape along an extremely elongated cold frontal zone stretching down from northern Ohio and southwestern Pennsylvania down through the Gulf Coast here. We could definitely see scattered supercells with all modes of severe weather certainly possible during this time frame. Let's actually head into Thursday night and into Friday here. You can definitely see some of that here. The system will progress eastward and northeastward. And even after dark, folks, we could still be dealing with tornadic thunderstorms stretching from the Mason-Dixon line all the way down through the Gulf Coast once again. Heavy rain, damaging winds, and large hail will create big-time problems as we go into the nocturnal hours Thursday night through Friday morning. We can definitely see some of those heavier bands developing down here and through Tennessee, even into Georgia here, northern Alabama. This could possibly even extend up to the Mason-Dixon line here. So the snowfall will also be lifting up into the Canadian provinces and across the Great Lakes as well, Thursday night through Friday morning. So we could definitely take a look at that. As we head into lunchtime on Friday here, about 1 p.m., this system will begin its exit off the United States with ongoing heavy snow across southern portions of Quebec here, and a little bit of icing happening just below that interface as well. So definitely not looking good. Looking at the 500 millibar analysis for Thursday, but we'll see some similarities from the previous system here as well. The mid-level jet will become more enhanced on Thursday, setting off the alarms and concerns for potential dangerous severe weather outbreak on Thursday. I would definitely say that we could very well see an enhanced risk issued from the Storm Prediction Center, especially as we move forward in time, closer to that Thursday time frame. But we could definitely see, look how strong that mid-level jet is there. So the kinematics and thermodynamics will certainly be in place for sure for an enhanced risk to take shape. You can definitely see how crazy that gets, especially heading into the Thursday night and Friday morning time frame. Looking at the 850 millibar analysis, the low-level jet. So the low-level jet will be persistent and prominent as well Thus, we have to watch for the potential of all modes of severe weather to pop up here, even well after dark here. So if we step this forward, take a look at that. Look how strong that low-level jet is. This is definitely setting the stage for catastrophic situations and emergencies to develop, especially given the threat of nocturnal tornadoes. Definitely not going to be good. This stretches all the way from the Gulf Coast all the way up into the mid-Atlantic and the northeastern states. So we're going to have to watch this system very vigorously as it comes in. Switching gears to the rainfall threat, even though you may or may not witness severe weather in your neck of the woods, there will definitely be many locations observing heavy downpours and rainfall totals eclipsing an inch, extending from the Ohio Valley down through the Gulf Coast states. So definitely be on the lookout. It's definitely be pretty crazy for sure. This does include a marginal risk issued by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in terms of excessive rainfall Wednesday into Thursday across portions of northeastern Louisiana, central and northern Mississippi, southeastern Arkansas, much of Tennessee, much of Kentucky as well, and northwestern Alabama, and even up to portions of southwestern Illinois and southern Indiana as well. As I said before, we can see rainfall accumulations of an inch to a half an inch to an inch, even up to an inch and a quarter as well. So definitely not good. So moving eastward and stepping forward in time here, we must watch for the potential for significant rainfall on Thursday through Friday, extending from portions of southwestern Pennsylvania, southern Ohio as well, down to the Appalachian Mountains, where the bullseye for the most significant rainfall totals looks to take shape across eastern Tennessee, southwestern North Carolina as well, and into northern Georgia, where rainfall totals may eclipse 2 inches in rainfall. This actually extends through southwestern Tennessee down into northern Mississippi as well, and even up towards to the north of the New Orleans area near Baton Rouge as well. So flash flooding will certainly be a concern, especially across the Smoky Mountains. Thus, if you are traveling across all of these areas here, please use extreme caution, folks. If you come across flooded roadways, please turn around, don't drown, folks. Your life is more important than where you are going. I cannot stress that enough, ladies and gentlemen. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has issued a slight risk for excessive rainfall across portions of the lower Appalachian Mountains into the Smoky Mountains down through northern Georgia, northern Alabama, portions of extreme northeastern Mississippi, and into extreme portions of northwestern South Carolina. Definitely have to watch the heavy rainfall. You can see that marginal risk also a pretty broad area extending from almost up near the Mason-Dixon line, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. This does include Lake Pontchartrain and northern New Orleans here. So definitely be on the lookout for heavy rain in the green and especially within the yellow shaded area here. On the back side of this system, there will be a narrow deformation zone where the heavy snowfall accumulations will take place. Shown here by the 850 millibar temperature analysis, we can see a textbook signature of a low pressure system. So definitely be on the lookout for that. It is extremely textbook here. You can see that right in here, folks, where the cold air wraps around the backside of the warm, and as the warm air surges to the north and northeast. Thus, as aforementioned, this will be very classic in terms of a clash of air masses, much like in the spring and summer. So it's definitely pretty interesting to see this in the middle of February. This snow setup will take shape under the influence of frontogenesis on Thursday as well, and even into Friday. And the European model guidance is very consistent and confident over the past few days with a Thursday into Friday snowfall event. This will include portions of northern Kansas here, southwestern Nebraska, even into central Iowa here, northwestern Missouri as well, up through southern Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, definitely in the impact zone there, and even into the Great Lakes. We're definitely going to have to watch the Chicago metro area around this time, as 50 miles of deviation of the storm system can definitely make or break winter in this area. Yeah, so it's definitely interesting here. You can definitely see all of this snow here. Definitely not a good situation. Just realized I didn't have it on screen, but let me reiterate that. So this snow setup will definitely take shape under the influence of frontogenesis on Thursday, and the European model guidance is very consistent and confident over the past few days with a Thursday into Friday snowfall event. This will include northern Kansas here, into southwestern or southeastern and southwestern Nebraska here, into central Iowa, northwestern Missouri as well, up through southern Wisconsin, even into northwestern Illinois, getting in on the action, even into the Great Lakes. We'll have to watch the Chicago metro area here because a deviation of 50 miles could make or break winter in this area, so we're going to have to watch this very carefully. The GEFS looks similar to the European model guidance as well, increasing confidence in this event taking shape. Thus, confidence is certainly increasing here for a major winter storm to take shape. Please use caution if you are traversing over the landscape in these areas expected to be hardest hit from this system. Remember, your life is more important than where you're going, so please use your head, folks. If it looks too dangerous to travel out there, please do not travel. So beyond this, folks, going through this upcoming weekend, all the way up through past the 28th and beyond here, we're still going to be dealing with that warmer air definitely surging to the north here, especially across the mid-Atlantic and northeastern states here. And another low pressure system you can definitely see is definitely lurking here. It's definitely going to take shape across the southwestern United States for sure. And we could be dealing with a major snowstorm once again coming into the 22nd. Through 1 a.m. So we can definitely see this heavy snow developing here across the Texas Panhandle, all the way up through the Oklahoma Panhandle into Kansas, Nebraska here, Missouri, all the way up. And as we extend this forward, we have that icing situation happening almost into the OKC metro. So we have to watch this very carefully. We extend this forward into 7 a.m. on Wednesday. See this icing taking place here from Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, central Missouri as well, with all this heavy snow and deformation zone on the northwestern side of this, possibly even some more severe weather extending into Kentucky, all the way down through southern Missouri here, all the way much of Arkansas, even down into eastern Texas. And we extend this further out, we do have that significant icing situation definitely happening here across Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and possibly even to the southwestern Pennsylvania area, even up through Lake Erie as well. And above that, we can definitely see that heavy snow developing. So Buffalo's going to have to watch out for this storm system. So definitely pretty crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please prepare for the weather ahead. And thank you for joining me in yet another weather video. If you have not subscribed yet and like our content, please consider doing so. Also, hit that like button and leave a comment down below as well. And lastly, share this information to ensure that it gets in the hands that need it the most. A big shout out to all of the subscribers on our channel. You have truly given us the greatest job in the world. We definitely love coming on here and giving these updates. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Definitely shout out to Dark Waters, BDRP. We definitely appreciate it. Definitely shout out to Robin, Deborah, and Marlene as well. We definitely appreciate you guys supporting our channel. And with that being said, folks, always remember, never stop chasing.